Hello and welcome to this month's Fire Chief's video message for February 2021. The snow is going to come the next couple of days. Just last week, Puxatawny Phil came out, saw his shadow, and we're expecting to have 6 more weeks of winter. This winter's been a very busy and exciting one, right, Pete?
It sure has, and typically it is a busy time of year, but that's really been the case here lately. We've started the new year with a number of fires, pretty significant fires. Throw in a few traumas, some car wrecks, trench rescues, and last week or so we've had some pretty significant fires that's had major impact on the community.
Yes, I mean we go from Hewitt Avenue to Lost Knife to Royal Bonnet to Duval and well, the one down in Silver Spring just yesterday morning. So let's talk about Hewitt Avenue real quick.
Yeah, so that was a fire where we got multiple calls. It's an apartment building, of course, and we did make a rescue, successfully resuscitated somebody.
Yep, found in the bathtub, in the bathroom, under some blankets.
Yep. And that person had some impairments that impacted that, but a lot of good work. They were quickly located, found, treated, gotten out of there, and pretty significant fire in a unit there.
So then Saturday night we got Lost Knife, 10 o'clock, garden apartment.
Yeah, same scenario, numerous calls and a lot of activity, a lot of drama, but that was caused a room and contents basically on the 3rd floor.
Then Sunday, right about 4:30, as people were getting ready for their Super Bowl or their non-Super Bowl activities, Duval Lane, that's electrical in between the 2nd and 3rd floor, but that was good work and a lot of people displaced.
Yeah, of course, we've had weather, very fluctuating weather conditions, and we've had a couple cold nights. We had, the townhouse fire over in 32's area where the neighbor rescued somebody, and that was very, very cold. Yeah, that was very cold, but in this case, it was kind of a nice day. A lot of challenges, though. In fact, the floor had burned through. The fire was so tense, but amazingly, nobody got hurt there. A lot of opportunity, a lot of people displaced, but to amazement, nobody got hurt.
Later, first thing Monday morning, we had Royal Bonnet. That was a kerosene heater being worked on inside the quad. That, how much open kerosene? You said you were there yesterday.
Yeah, so that was a kerosene. That was actually in the evening, and that was a kerosene heater that was being used inside. The people didn't have heat for whatever reason, and there was a mishap, malfunction of a kerosene heater. Plus, they had a number of some fuel being stored in the apartment. So, in fact, someone had to jump from the 2nd floor. They couldn't get out. The other family members got out, but we did have a burn victim there. And pretty significant fire, but had it not been for those sprinklers would have been a tragic outcome, I'm sure.
And then just yesterday morning, we had Woodstock, which was space heaters, natural bedding and material too close to the space heaters for dog bedding underneath the stairs, and same type of situation. Somebody, homeowner engaged with it, got some burns and some smoke inhalation. A couple of these also have had smoke alarm issues, right?
Right. A couple of them, the most recent ones we've had, Woodstock and Royal Bonnet, had old, outdated smoke alarms. They didn't work, and that's why we recommend that you replace them with a 10-year long life battery. But in this case, in fact, the common denominator in both of those most recent significant fires were heaters, space heaters, working smoke alarms, and narrow escapes.
Yep. So as we went through after the fire on these events. We got some installations taken care of. On every call, every time we're in a structure, EMS call, automatic fire alarm, or that defective washing machine, ask to check that smoke alarm. Make sure that those residents have a working sentry of that smoke alarm being present, and make sure that they're always protected so they have that early warning.
Yeah, we've always been pretty good with after the fire safety initiatives, but we've had a lot of practice here recently. Our community outreach folks are still engaged with the home safety evaluations virtually, and if necessary, that will come out, but they've been fully engaged still, so there's a great way to have that done virtually by calling 311.
Yeah, so segue into COVID and to the pandemic. So today, this week, we're doing another set of pods or vaccination activities at the Academy. We've had about 1,000 folks from MCFRS be vaccinated. Some of those are getting their second shots this week. Definitely want to say a huge shout out to Dan Schaefer, Mike Weimer, Chris Tuzo, Charles Bailey, and Beth Sanford, and everybody who's taken the effort and the task on. Those people who've been trained as vaccinators, those that have been helping that logistic support, machine. But great work for that, and want to say, to everybody, if you're still interested, go to the links, go to the infectious disease blog, go to the link so you can sign up, absolutely. But we got some interesting statistics on our EMS activities. What are you seeing?
Yeah, so we've had some, just like in the first wave, our call volume, overall call volume kind of went down a little bit. The number of PUIs or people with COVID that went up, and we saw a little bit of bump. I think it was where are we? February. So January going into February, we had a little bump there, that high volume of calls. But I think that's kind of
absolutely
slowed down a bit.
Soon it's Valentine's Day, so you got to remember that, Pete. But the focus here is January 1st. We started back into the blue alert process. We're going to be in that for a period of time. As you see on this chart, the way it's predicting the curve back down, we're not going to be back to the rough November status or the November impact of COVID until the May timeframe. So it's going to be a little bit more as we go. This was a pretty gradual curve, but our PUIs as a percent of daily patient count, that's going down. New cases going down. Acute care admissions down. ICU admissions down, and we're starting to see a slight increase, which is a good thing, of ICU bed availability. So this is definitely more of a campaign and a marathon than it has been a sprint. We're almost at a full year into the pandemic, but everybody take those precautions, wear the mask, wear the surgical mask, wear the gowns, the eye protections, and treat them appropriately. But a huge shout out to the folks in EMIHS for keeping a constant eye on it, as well as all of the folks that helped with vaccine, and everybody who's taking care of keeping yourself healthy, your family healthy, and your coworkers and members on your shifts and your duty crew healthy as well.
Well, and that's a good point, that there's still a lot going on in the community, not only with testing availability throughout Montgomery County, that seems to be going pretty well. They're well organized, the health department. The vaccinations are ramping up. I think we're set to go. You mentioned the pods. That's going very well. But in the community-based, on the federal and state level, there's a lot going on, moving targets. There's been some discussion recently about the number of vaccines available, which is, we're dependent on that, of course, and we're good to go. But a big impact on the community, but we still need people, ourselves included, wear the mask, keep our social distance, wash our hands, take those precautions. In some cases, all this talk about the variants and so forth, I usually wear a double mask, so that's probably not a bad idea either.
So we've talked about double mask internally. We do not see that as a trajectory going forward. Not to say it won't change, but we don't anticipate doing that. But it's definitely been talked about. So big news came out just the other day, the new radio system. The new date is March 24th that we're going to be cutting over, and a lot of important just-in-time trainings out there to go over those tech tips. So I want to make sure everybody gets to those tech tips, goes through the fleet map, looks at it, goes through the practice guide that Jeff and others have put together, because the very critical part of that radio is the member's lifeline to talk to others, the member's means of communicating in the time when they're in that dark, obscured vision environment. So that radio is so important. So radio cutover. You've been through a lot of radio systems,
Yep. So I know in this, we've had some incremental changes, and I know some training has been taking place, and looking forward to it. And as you said, it's a very important part of everything we do each and every day. Is that communication link is very important.
Good deal that's coming along. In-building coverage should go up. Wide area coverage will be going up. The folks on the river are immensely happy with the improved coverage that they've observed in the testing of the new system down there. So good deal. Long time coming, but definitely a benefit. Also, just the other day, we welcomed another a group of folks to the academy. RC48 started up. So we had RC47 in place when the pandemic hit, and they had to adjust. And RC48, I flipped that for a second, RC47 was in place. RC48 is now sitting at the academy, and that class is smaller than we wanted, and it's smaller because of safety precautions to keep those folks safe and healthy and be able to provide more protection as they go through their recruit class process. So good deal to the academy for getting RC48 on and ready to go.
Of course, the easy thing to have done would defer that class, but that wasn't done. Like you said, you did reduce the size a little bit to make it more manageable for that. But it's a little class that could, and they've been there a week or two already.
Are you going to try to coin that phrase so that they put it in their flag?
Maybe we'll see. But
I don't think they will be.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So intrigued. But
I hope not.
So no doubt that there's a lot going on. The winter weather's here. We're talking about 3 to 5 inches of snow today, tonight, tomorrow. It's kind of making up for years past with no, measurable precipitation. Everybody's got to be careful out there in those slips and ice. We did have a very significant incident on the Beltway the other day with engine 707. I was talking to some folks here. We're at Station 32. About that incident this morning. So everybody, please use caution when you're out there on the Beltway. High-speed highways, 270, 29, 200 as an example. But the same can occur on a back street, a rural street out in Damascus or Laytonsville. So we got to always have our head on a swivel and always be prepared for, roadway safety concerns.
Yeah, we did have a couple of these storms roll through here, and inclement weather and varying road conditions and temperatures and everything. So, 1 or 2 of those storms, a pretty significant number of crashes were single car. And the traffic was lighter, but I guess people were just driving a little bit too fast for conditions. You mentioned the Beltway situation.
Oh, yeah, they're going to make some improvements on the roadway surface, per se.
Yep. So
we'll see how that helps on the big curve. So.
Yep, we'll see how that goes, and of course that's ongoing for the next couple of weeks. So,
yep.
Looking forward to some road improvements there.
Yep. So I want to again shout out to all of those that have been answering the nearly 300 calls a day and taking care of the residents, the visitors of the county and their needs. Want to shout out to everybody who's been involved in the vaccination process and say thank you very much. A lot has occurred in a very short period of time, just about 45 days to get to the point we're at. And we're going to continue to pivot. We're going to continue to flex and adjust as we go forward. So take care, wear your mask, hygiene, social distance, and watch out for the slippery and slick roads. Take care until next month.